Hi, I'm Dan Potter, and welcome to What's Cooking Texas. Today, we're north of Fort Worth at the Circle T Ostrich Ranch. The ostrich industry in Texas is taking off. Nationwide, 1,500 to 2,500 birds are processed every month. Ostrich hide has always been popular with cowboys for things like full quill ostrich boots, but now the lean red meat of the ostrich is gaining popularity with Texas chefs. Join us as we travel next to Delaney Vineyards in Grapevine. We'll take our selection of wines and we'll go to Casherel Restaurant, one of the finest restaurants in the Metroplex. It's located in Arlington, and we'll see what Executive Chef Hans Bergman can do with ostrich meat. Coming up on today's edition of What's Cooking Texas. The Delaney Vineyard in Grapevine is the second winery for owners Jerry and Linda Delaney. It's designed to resemble an 18th century French winery. Delaney's copper roof sparkling in the bright North Texas sun. Inside it is cool and dark, and the air is sweet with the scent of oak barrels from the Grand Barrel Room. But now we're getting ahead of ourselves. Delaney Winery's Derek Sidwell turns me around and begins our tour outside. Just off Highway 114, in the flight path of DFW International Airport, Grapevine, Texas never had a commercial vineyard. Never did, even while wine producing was becoming popular and profitable in other regions like the Texas Hill Country and the Caprock. Commercial vineyards were conspicuously absent from Grapevine. Well, that's not the case anymore. 4 major wineries, including Delaney's, have moved all or part of their operations to Grapevine. And the city even persuaded the Texas Wine and Grape Growers Association to move its headquarters from Austin to Grapevine. So today, the city has the full right to proclaim itself the capital of Texas wine. At 10 acres, Delaney's is the largest vineyard in Grapevine. At harvest, the grapes are pressed, skins are removed for white wine and left on for red. Initial fermentation takes place in these stainless steel tanks. The wine is then transferred to the oak barrels in the Grand Barrel Room for aging. This room, by the way, is also used for private parties and wedding receptions. Last year, Delaney's Grapevine Vineyard harvested 27 tons of grapes and bottled 35,000 gallons of wine. Here's a toast to Delaney Vineyards and to the future success of Texas wines. Our thanks to Derek Sidwell for the tour. After selecting a couple of bottles of Delaney's finest vintage, we headed south to a restaurant acclaimed by Condé Nast Traveler as one of the 50 best eateries in the U.S., Casherel Restaurant in Arlington, and a visit with Executive Chef Hans Bergman. Chef Hans, good to see you.
Hi Dan, how are you doing? Good to see you.
We've got some Texas wine for you. We've been
out
at the
That's
vineyard.
Great.
Some Delaney Vineyards, a Cabernet and a Chardonnay, and I thought perhaps that you might put together a little appetizer to go with the Chardonnay. And we've been talking about ostrich too, and I know the Cabernet Sauvignon goes well with ostrich.
Great with that, yeah.
So what do you have for us today?
Okay, let me start off maybe with a grape purse filled with rock shrimp and sea scallops. It's a neat little thing. I'm going to show you how we do the grape mixture first. I'm going to have here my ingredients. We have 1.5 ounces flour, 6 ounces of milk, 2 whole eggs, and chopped parsley. And the way we do that, we have our flour sieved. We add a dash of salt. Add about half of the milk. Okay, now we're going to add our eggs. Okay, now it's time to add the rest of the milk. Okay, in case you have lumps, like I said, you strain it. We don't have any, then we can add our parsley now. Okay, we got to get the pan hot, and then we brush it a little bit with oil, not too much. We take our mixer, pour it in. What we want to do, we just want to coat the bottom of the pan.
Keep rolling the mixture around until there is no more liquid.
Yeah.
Notice that you pull the crepe down to the lip so that it's almost halfway up the pan.
Yeah, then you
and
can flip it better.
Flip. All right.
Yeah, this is a big pan. It makes it a little bit more difficult than on a smaller pan. And usually the first one gives you a more hard of a time, you know.
And the first one's a test crepe,
Yeah.
and then the rest. Okay.
Just finish them cooking on the other side. And then maybe meanwhile we can get the outer leaf of leeks. Take the leaf off. Plunge it in the water for about 15 seconds. And this leek is going to be here to make a string to tie the purse at the end.
To actually tie up the ends of the purse.
To hold it together. So we're going to ice it down quickly. Let's make here our last grape.
Icing it down stops the cooking, obviously, but does it also preserve the color? Does it keep it green by doing that, make it a brighter
Yeah,
green?
first of all, the salt water keeps it green, and then icing it down, it helps it a great lot. Okay, now we're gonna cut 4 strings. Okay, now we're gonna have here our sea scallops. Most of them, they still have the muzzle on. We're gonna take them off because that would make the scallops tough.
Okay. They just detach. You don't need to cut them off. You just pull them right off.
Just pull them right off. Okay, we're gonna keep 4 for the garnish. We're gonna use them later on.
All right.
And we need 7 ounces cut up into small pieces. And then here as well I have 7 ounces of rock shrimp.
Mm.
So we can season this.
You're seasoning it with salt.
Salt and then a little bit pepper.
Get back on there.
Yeah.
You're not going to lose one
And
here.
we're still alive. Gonna add some of the olive oil in here. Cook first the scallops.
One thing that I find that all chefs have in common is that when they cook a piece of meat or seafood, then when they saute, they all use very high heat to start out with. The pan is not cool by any means. I mean, we can see the smoke.
Yeah, you want to seal everything so you keep the juices inside. If it's a piece of meat or fish, it's the same.
So you seal off the outside of the meat, or in this case the
Yeah.
seafood, and that keeps the juices inside.
Inside.
All right.
Okay, now they're ready. We let them drain.
Very quick.
Same pan. We put the rest of the olive oil. We're gonna add the rock shrimp. They go real quick as well. They just sear them off barely. And we want to keep this pan to saute our shallots and mushroom, and they make the sauce. So we want to have the flavor.
So the crystallized juices down here, what's stuck to the bottom of the
Yeah.
pan, that's where a lot of the flavor is going to come
Exactly.
from?
The liquid's going to pick it up again. Okay, now we add a little bit butter in the pan. We need 2 shallots. Let them sweat for about 20-30 seconds. I have here 6 mushroom. While this is cooking, we can chop a little bit tarragon.
This dish gets a great deal of its flavor from the tarragon, right?
Yeah.
And it's almost a licorice flavor, is that the best way to describe it?
You could compare there a little bit licorice. Okay, now we can deglaze the pan with some brandy, or in that case I have cognac.
And this is the process you were talking about. By putting the liquid in there, that's what takes
It's going to pick up the flavor,
from the bottom of the pan. All that crystallized juice.
Exactly. Then we add our whipping cream. And also we add the juices, the drippings from the sea scallops and the rock shrimp. That gives additional flavor. So we want to reduce it to a thick consistency. Don't want to have it too runny so it doesn't run out of the grape purse afterwards.
Okay.
Smell it already? Wait till we add the tarragon.
Add the tarragon, yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah.
So now we're going to reduce the heat. And we add our sauteed rock shrimp and scallops.
Now they're basically cooked already, or
Yeah.
are very close to being done, so they don't need to spend much time.
No, you don't want to boil them too much anymore, so they don't get
Reheat.
tough. Yeah.
Instantly, that changes the aroma.
Yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Season with salt, pepper, and a touch of cayenne.
Now, it certainly wasn't enough to give the dish any heat.
No, just to round the flavor up, make it a complete.
Make it feel full on the palate.
Exactly. You
Just
don't
give
want
it
to have.
another
You don't want to have
dimension.
it spicy at all.
You do that a lot in your dishes, don't you? Put
Yeah.
that pinch of cayenne in, just kind of fill in the blanks.
It does the job. So I'll let you taste it before
Okay.
we fill it into the grape purse.
Get a rock shrimp on here. Oh, that's divine. That's beautiful.
Okay. So Dan says we're ready to go to fill the purse.
Let's fill the purses. Well, we've prepared all the ingredients that go in these crepe purses, and now we're ready to actually assemble the purse. We've pre-cooked the crepes, and now we're going to fill them.
Yes. Put them in the center.
This is the part I want to see. How do we do
We
this?
just fold them together.
Kind of gathering up the sides, all
Yeah.
right.
So we have that little purse here, and we take, remember those strings we made?
Our leek purse strings.
Yeah.
I think I might be able to help you this
Yeah.
time.
You
How about
want
if I
that?
put my finger right
Yeah,
there?
Fantastic.
All right. There you go.
It looks more difficult than it actually is, you know, it goes real easy. And then we bake them in the oven at about 455 degrees for about 5 minutes.
All right.
Take it down. And then meanwhile we can saute some sea scallops for garnish.
These are the 4 scallops that we had
We
left over
reserved,
then.
yes. Season them with salt, pepper.
And again, a hot pan, seal
And
that
then
surface.
finish them in the oven.
All right.
Okay, let's put them in the oven. All right,
Okay.
so let's see how we're doing here. Okay, here we got our scallops. And here we are.
Oh, those look beautiful.
So we can add a little sauce here.
Again, the sauce is strictly optional, but
Yeah.
if you have a favorite white or wine-based sauce that you really like, go ahead and put it under here.
We add one sea scallop. A little bit tomato concasse for color. And maybe a little reminder that we use some fresh tarragon.
So the garnish makes sense with the ingredients. In other words,
Yeah.
instead of putting a sprig of thyme on here, since tarragon's a predominant flavor in the dish, you
We
put a
want to
little
use
piece
it
of
for the
tarragon.
garnish too, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Voila. Here we are.
That's beautiful. Well, that was a beautiful appetizer, a lot of preparation. We have talked a lot in this show about ostrich and about how good it is, and folks need to try it. I'm anxious to do this recipe. What do you have planned for us?
Okay, I planned a sliced grilled ostrich steak on a bed of yellow beefsteak tomatoes with shiitake mushrooms on a crisp potato cake. It sounds
good.
all complicated, but it's really easy to do.
Very simple? All right.
Okay,
How do we
first
begin?
we have to do the potato cake. Gonna peel our potato here. Okay, then we're gonna shred the potatoes to real fine juliennes.
Oh, yeah, that's even smaller than a shoestring.
Yeah, I like those tools.
So what do we do with those?
Okay, we're gonna cook them in a 5-inch non-stick pans. Add a little bit of oil. And in each pan, we just thinly spread it in there. And we season with salt and pepper. Add a little bit of thyme. And we turn them over. We cook them from both sides. Okay, now we're gonna cut our ostrich steaks. This actually is the fan fillet of the bird. For me, it's the most tender piece.
Okay,
Of the bird.
let's pretend I'm an ostrich. Is that right about back here on the back of the ostrich? Is it?
It's in the leg. It's
in the leg,
inside
okay.
round of the leg, I would say.
All right, and then you think this is the best cut off the bird?
It is, you will see.
All right.
We cut about 6 or 7 ounce steaks.
What amazes me about the ostrich, Heinz, is the color. It looks like beef. It doesn't look like poultry.
Yeah, everybody expects a lighter color on it, more like maybe from a turkey or something,
Yeah.
but it is not. It's actually dark red. It's like beef, and you'd be surprised. They taste like beef.
The taste is very comparable?
Yes. So we're gonna season that now with salt and pepper. Okay, now we're gonna brush it a little bit with oil.
I suppose that's one of the disadvantages not to having a lot of fat in the meat, is that you don't have, I mean, you have to use an oil to keep it from sticking to the grill.
Yeah, that makes life much easier. Okay, we're gonna turn him over. Okay, the best way to eat ostrich meat is rare to medium rare, otherwise it turns a little bit to the dry side.
I would assume that you check it the same way you check a beefsteak, kind of feel it, feel the resistance on the meat.
Exactly.
Okay. Those look beautiful.
Okay, we let them rest for about 5 minutes.
All right.
And meanwhile, we can get ready for our decoration for the plate. Beefsteak, tomatoes.
Yellow beefsteaks,
Yes.
nonetheless. Those are beautiful.
We're gonna garnish them with arugula leaves. Okay, then we season them with salt and pepper. And we take some balsamic vinegar.
One of my favorites. I love balsamic vinegar. Just the aroma. It's worth it just for the
Yeah.
smell.
Drizzle with a little bit olive oil. Take some shiitake mushrooms. Okay, now we add some butter in a pan. Add some chopped shallots.
Shallots again.
Yeah. We add the mushrooms. Season with salt, pepper. Okay, now we have everything together to assemble our dish. Divide the mushrooms on top. Gonna slice the steaks.
You mentioned already the contrast in color that we see here. There's also a contrast in texture as well. You has to make it interesting to the
Got those
palate.
different layers, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, then we garnish with a little bit.
The presentation's
Here we are.
three-dimensional. Yeah, that's beautiful. It not only, I mean, it's the color we talked about, but it's also high off
Yeah.
the plate. That's beautiful.
So are you ready to taste? Are you ready to sit down?
I'm ready to sit down. I brought the wine. You've got the ostrich. Let's go eat.
I bet you can't wait.
I can't. When you think of Texas food, you may not think of crepe purses filled with sea scallops, rock shrimp, and flavored with a tarragon cream. You probably don't think of grilled ostrich served on a crispy potato cake and yellow beefsteak tomatoes and shiitake mushrooms. But these foods are very much part of Texas cooking in the 1990s. Even Texas wines are beginning to gain worldwide acclaim. Executive Chef Hans Bergman, thank you for sharing your expertise and the warmth of Casserole with us. I'm Dan Potter. Join us next time on What's Cooking Texas. Until then, enjoy your food and enjoy each other. Oh, this looks wonderful.